Welcome to Airbnb Success. Today we look into modifiers. It's all about how to become a successful host. What is the successful host and how to be amazing, brilliant at handling guests. And guests will look up to you as a perfect host and they will give you 5-star rating every single time. Okay, let's get into it. So in modifiers, we will looking into what is a winning horse and what type of horse are you, so we can determine how to deal with guests. All right, and then the winning mentality for Airbnb horse, what it's like. We're also looking into last minute hosting and is it worth it or not to do last minute hosting. Also, you will provide your guests access to your house and how to be super good about this, either you be there or not. Okay, we will also discuss about how to respond with guests upon checking in and what type of lock or key should you provide to them in case you're not there and actually on your holiday, and then looking into how to increase the positive review. So to become a successful host, we will have a very good routine that you can just do it every day in day out or pass it to your manager, to your cleaner to do it as well. And systemize the cleaning process. So either you do it or someone else do this. They have a kind of guideline to follow. And we're looking at outsource check-in, how to check in and check out the guests even when you're not there and they're still happy about it. Okay. And the last one, I will show you how I meet my first guest, and it's a real guest that I will do it live on live video when the guests arrive, how I greet them, what do I tell them, and what do I provide for them in order for them to check in happily and staying happy with no question asked during their stay. Okay, let's get into it. First one, you got to determine what type of horse are you
low touch one,
in
a
terms
medium
of
touch one,
becoming
or the
a
high
winning
touch
horse type of horse. Okay, understanding the kind of horse you want to be or are capable of being will help to fill all the inquiries about finding the right type of guest for your horse types. And just as to more hand of horse may feel overwhelming by overly communicated guests, and a high-touch horse might unfulfilled by a self-sufficient guest who prefer their privacy as well. So, based on those three main categories, you might find a bit about yourselves in more than one description, but focus on finding the one that sells most likely you and that you are most capable of being. Okay, so you will need to communicate with your hostile to the potential guests. When you get the inquiries, you don't want to overpromise by putting yourself in a category that is higher judged than you are capable of. Okay, so for example, you might have the moment of being a high touch host as you experience dynamic and guests that just work for you, but you might overall be a medium touch host. Yeah. So read the on the so listen to the description that I'm going to tell you. Like, as a low touch host, you will have little or no in-person contact with your guests. So you either don't live on site where the listing is, or you prefer the guests who are extremely independent. Maybe your guests have their own entrance and you are renting out a finished basement or garage, or you are renting your entire home while you are away on vacation. Or perhaps you work a lot and simply unable available for your guest at all. So the low touch host will limit their in-person interaction with the guests to meet them with the key and show them the room and the house and the space. Now, and the low touch host may even leave the key in a lockbox and message the guests through the Airbnb app with instruction for accessing the property. So this type of host responsibility includes being responsive through Airbnb app from the point of inquiry until the guests check out. So the low charge host motivation for hosting is to providing their income. Okay. So, and when they reach their financial goal, it's quite possible that they will just stop hosting. The medium type of host is the type that they either on site or in the same roof as the guest, and they have the access to part of the home um, that the guest access to. So if you are this type, then you are about to interact with your guests. Um, compared to the low touch host, this is pretty much impossible in this case because you can't avoid interacting with the guests at all. Okay, so you got to welcome your guests in person when they arrive at the property, and you got to show your guests to their room and give them a tour to all of the amenities to which the guests had access while covering the house rules and answering any question they have on hand. This called a welcome tour. Okay. Um, if you are medium touch host, um, you will be tend to be more friendly, casual, start a conversation with your guests in passing when they pass by, but keep the boundaries because all the guests might want to avoid turning you, the host, guest relationship towards more social and friendly one. Okay, so taking the dynamic into the friendly shift territory could dismiss the boundaries communicated during the house tour, and the host one some hosts want to avoid that. Okay, so the medium touch hosts motivation for hosting is to bring in the supplemental income, and they also enjoy interaction with their guests, um, enjoy the act of hosting, enjoy meeting the new people, but not necessarily want to become best friend with them. Okay. The high church house is the type of people that considering hosting the extra spy on Airbnb because they love hosting and want to provide exceptional experience for the guests while bringing some extra cost. And if you are the high church host, then it's marvelous because guests will love you, Airbnb will love you, the whole sharing economy will love you, and everyone will love you. The high church host lives on site and will be present when they have guests. And they like to put their own spin on going the extra mile. And maybe they offer a ride to and from the airport and prepare breakfast or other meals, or given to hanging out with guests and having in-depth conversation. And they make themselves available for their guests and don't mind giving guidance or recommendation that were not covered in the welcome tour or the welcome book or in the guidebook. If you are this type, then you either love people or you love being a super host, or maybe both. Um, Although do notice that high touch host could also be someone who is solely motivated by supplemental income and looking to provide a more luxury experience for the guests. They tend to serve any extra stuff or extra communication in the listing description, headline and price and etc. Okay. Myself, I being in all of these categories because of the number of the flights I have and manage. So some place I be a low charge one, some place I be a medium one, and some place where it's more central and higher price and closer to me, then I be a high charge house. Not necessarily I'm living in there though, because I have my own place. Okay. So look on it and you can determine which type of horse are you and what. Um, so you can fit into that criteria and support the horse around your area. But you may, go a bit low or a bit high if you are in the medium. And if you're in the high, then you may go a bit medium or low sometime if you're actually away for your vacation, you know. But just be aware of that and work around it with your guests. The winning horse also have the winning mentality, which if you set up the cycle for feedback with your guests and actively look for the area to improve. So when you make an addition, add it to your listing. Yeah. So it shows that people that you actually show to people that you're actively improving your space and the guests like active house. There are no way to tell for sure what your best combination for listing, description, title is. Now try out different variation as often as you can. Okay. If you are constantly tinkering, you will eventually become successful. And the experimentation is how you change your listing from £50 per night to £90 per night. Okay, so do keep that in mind. Last minute hostings. Is it worth it with last minute hosting? You ask. Um, occasionally you have to get people who want to book in the last second or late in the evening if you have an instant book. And if you allow guests to book for one night, because most of these type of guests they only mostly I don't say all right, mostly they want to just either have a night lie in because they transition to a new place, or they think they will be late to cut the train to go back home, whereas home is far away, or they just gonna have a night out and don't want to go um, back too far away from where they are. Okay, so you got to consider how quickly you're going to clean your space, and so in order to fulfill this last minute hosting, I highly recommend you to clean your space after every guest leave, so you have your space available anytime if you have people book your place instantly. Okay, um, yeah, and your space always ready for that. You got to also look at if the guest is booked at the last minute and they check in late, and after the cleaning you wouldn't be able to have enough time to prepare gifts that we were talking about earlier. So but the thing is, it's not a big deal about this because mostly they will stay for one night and anyway. And if they actually book to stay over long minutes and stay for longer than 2 3 nights, then you can also give them the gift later on the second day, or before they leave. Um, but all in all, with last minutes you will earn more and get more review. Uh, and get your space filled where it haven't been booked in advance before. Okay, so if you be ready for that and any last minute things, anything that need to be solved, it will be easy and be done quickly with no hassle to you at all. And whether you decide to open for last minute or not, it's up to you as well. If you don't want to have any hassle about it, then don't need to bother. But then you might have a whole week empty in your calendar, and then it's up until Wednesday. Someone start booking, and it's been empty from Monday, Tuesday, and they book last minute. So it's like, let's say today Wednesday, and they just start booking afternoon. Okay, so how you handle that? That's it fine, right? So if they say that, okay, they book the place and they want to check in at 7, your place already ready for that. So just make yourself available to be there for your guests or have someone available for your guests. Okay. So after guests book your place, they will need an access on arrival day. There's a different type of way that you can providing access to your guests. In attempt to providing the guest access to your place, there's a many ways to do it. Either you personally direct um, giving guests access. This is an advantage if you are in a block of development house where they provide 24 hours concierge, but most of the time it tends to be a private house that we are having. Okay, so remember all hotels are dependable, and even three-star establishments have a reliable front desk with 24-hour service. And that means that new guests can walk in at any time and have someone to assist them with a check-in. And it's a great feeling to know that someone will always be there at your service. And plus, if it's a key is misplaced, then guests can simply ask for a replacement with a minimal hassle. So, if how can you provide a similar level of service without building a front desk and hiring the staff like a hotel? So you either got to, if you are living in the premise yourself, living inside the place, then that is fine. The 24 hours, not a big deal if the guest been locked out in the middle of the night or check in early or late. You can also accommodate it, right? What if you're not living there? Okay. The best way I will show you is keyless entry. This is the newest way for hosts across the globe to install an electronic locking system. And these technologies are savvy options enable the guest to simply enter a numeric code or provide a fingerprint to gain access to the space. And the code can be changed remotely as guests cycle in and out of your place. Okay, so this option is particularly attractive to most of the hosts who are frequently on the road, go about, or not actually live in the space. And guests can check into the home without any sort of liaisons through. Although we still recommend a personal greeting whenever possible. Yeah. So let's say if you have um, a cleaner who comes to clean your place at a certain time, and that certain time is the time when the guests arrive. You can also train your cleaner to check the guests in for you with a very basic detail. Hand over the key, and then you will be the person who communicate with your guests on Airbnb app. Okay, so back to the keyless entry. Um, Another benefit of this remote locking system is that they can send notification to you as a host if the front door is left open or an extended period of time. Um, so depending on the brand, arrays of customizable options are available regarding messaging and personalization. Finally, the electronic locks simplify the entire experience by negating the need for multiple keys. The guests don't have to worry about losing a key or locking themselves out of the apartment. Then, for your convenience, um, there's a few um, electric lock products. I will compile later on the whole list so you can take a look. Or you can even put a lock box outside your door in a hidden place where you can instruct the guests to get access to it, to pick the key and then enter your space. Okay. So with this, the keyless entry, the two most popular one at the moment is Lockitron. So it's spelled Lockitron. You can check it on their website or on Amazon, eBay, those around them, or Quickset, which spelled Kwikset, or just type um, search for smart code that lock on Google search, and you will see there's several options appear for you. Okay, for when you check the gas in to your space is a crucial part of the process. Remember that because it is fairly simple and straightforward. You must not bumble this part, okay? Because if you mishandle the check-in, this will certainly lead to a negative review and a sour taste in your guest's mouth at the beginning of their place. And if this happens, doesn't matter how good the place they stay, they already have a bad taste at the beginning, and anything come after that doesn't taste good at all. Okay. Um, and if you do decide to retain a standard lock and key access to your place, then there's a few tips to keep your listing running smoothly. Okay, here we go. First, you got to make sure that you create several sets of keys. I'm not talking about 2 or 3 sets here, yeah? Go ahead and have 5 sets made. As in the presentation, you see, I explain clearly where these 5 sets go into. And that doesn't sound excessive at all because when you actually need it, you will thank me later because I have tell you to do this, yeah? Why the smartness? Some of you might ask. As you say, the first set of keys will be with you on your space manager and the cleaner at all time. All right, and that will ensure the fully access in case of emergency or in event that your guest is urgently required. You then need 2 set of keys for your guests. Okay, in case it depends on your place, the place that you staying. Either it's 1 bed flat, 1 bed house, or 2 bed. This is for 1 place and 1 guest. So you need 2 set of key for the guest. This is not necessary that you have to hand them 2 set. Okay, this is for 1 set for the guest, and then another set is prepared if they lose it. So you have another one on hand to give it to them. Okay. So if you want to provide a true hotel-like service and convenience, this is the way to go. And that will allow multiple guests to have flexibility when they go to separate locations during the day and night as well. So next, you should have the 4 set as a backup because this needs to be stored somewhere in case you lose your key or you need to replace the key in the middle of your guest staying. Okay. I recommend to having a trusted neighbor to keep it, and so long as they are home often, of course. Otherwise, you can put the set of key in the lock box or somewhere safe inside the house, but guests don't necessarily get access to. Okay, and now we get to the key number 5. The backup key that should be stored somewhere by you or your managers, and having the 5th key is either a height of preparedness and the absolute pinnacle of forward thinking. Now, herewise, in the off chance that your guests happen to encounter an all-encompassing party with bliss of alcohol and dance music that cause them to lose both set of keys, There you go. You're good to go. Either it's 1 or 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay. And for the starter, you can rush to the 8 and provide them with key number 5 while retaining the key number 1 and key number 4. And next, you can sculpture down to the key store with the key number 1 and have 2 extra copy made. So why one against holding key number 1? If you have new guests arrive before the 2 copies are finished, you still have a set of keys to offer them while holding on to a pair of keys yourself without disturbing key number 4. Okay, there you go. Crisis resolved, but we will all avoid. And the day says bravo. Another quick tip is to make sure your lock works smoothly. If you have a lock that is tricky to open, please fix it or replace it. Otherwise, it's gonna ruin your reputation, your listings, or it's gonna end up as a bad review. Okay. Even if it's easy for you to open, you need to be mindful of guests who are unfamiliar with whatever magic jiggling or twisting or pushing that is required to get the door to open. Okay. So there you go. 5 set of keys. So when you start listing your place, please be prepared 5 sets. So you don't have to, if you have 2 sets now, go and cut another 3. Because when you need it the most is when the key shop unavailable or closed or bank holiday. That tends to be the case, right? So do that for your own sake and prepare at the beginning. Okay, in response to your guests, this is important, and the rate of your response is the most crucial bit. Okay, you got to making the connection between Airbnb host and the guest properly, and this isn't always an easy way. Okay, the star need to align and both parties need to be on the same page throughout from beginning to the end. You go through so much effort to create a compelling listings that people would be willing to stay in. So you need to do everything you can to create a smooth communication to lock down the details. And Airbnb like to emphasize just how important it is to respond promptly to reservation inquiries. And sometimes the decisions are made at the drop of a hat when travelers are desperate for a place to stay. You don't want to leave them hanging, do you? So the response rate is important. And Airbnb record every time you respond, so it should be 100%. You got to, when you first receive an inquiry from your guest, you got to reply to it and then click the approval button as well. So don't just reply and not approve, or don't just approve and not reply. It doesn't matter what your guests say. Even don't ask anything, just approve and reply. That will be counted at 100%, right? If you cancel a guest, your rate will go down significantly. I had that happen to my place, and I go from Superhouse into nothing over the night, and I haven't go back to Superhouse now because I've been canceled something like 5 guests due to several urgency reasons. You got to send a message to your guest saying that you will respond later if you're unable to respond there and then. Let's say if you are driving, you receive a notification from Airbnb on your phone. So just, approve the request and write a message saying, okay, I'm on the road. I'll get back to you when I get home. Okay, so it doesn't matter 2 or 3 hours you get home later, you still can reply to their question properly, and they would understand your point of view, and Airbnb will see that the response rate is going good. Okay, you can write anything at all that matter is response itself. Okay, and on Airbnb your Airbnb profile, you will see an indicator in the right column of your response rate, and it will say something like within a few hours or within a day, etc. The guests will also see this as well. Yeah, so this gives a prospective guest some insight into how attentive you are into your Airbnb inquiries and why Airbnb isn't 100% transparent with their search algorithm. They do say that response rate plays a part in how high your listing come up in search results. So don't take any chances, please. Respond to your inquiry right away. It doesn't matter if you accept or reject them. The longer you keep people waiting, the better chance they find another place to stay. So don't keep your guests in limbo. Give them a firm yes or no as soon as you can. Unfortunately, Airbnb has made it super easy to be notified and respond to these requests from wherever you are. And that is by using the Airbnb app with notification. Airbnb has recently updated the app to include everything you need to be a successful host. So you can now accept or deny guests right from the app. And this is fantastic because if you're already out traveling somewhere yourself or know that you'll be away from your computer for a period of time, okay, um, we can look into the app later on live, but now that is there if you need it, okay. And don't forget that Airbnb still has notification option that you can set up. So you know as soon as the inquiry come in, you can get email, text, or mobile notification on Android and on iOS directly from the slick new app. Okay, so do set that on your setting because if you unable to get access to the internet there and then you still receive the text message on your phone saying a guest has made inquiry or the guest have asked you a question, etc. So you can arrange accordingly to reply to their request. Okay, there really is no excuse for leaving people hanging when they want to book your listings. And Airbnb has provided all the tools for you to be a top-notch host, no matter wherever you are. And it is up to you to put them into action. Yeah, I mean, after all, the first impression our guest has of your listings isn't when they walk in, right? It's all about the first communication you have with them. So be polite, timely, and let them know that you are serious about being a good host. Okay. Yeah. So manage your space with your mobile app. You can monitor your listings with your mobile app and everything on there. So if you they there's a site that if you build, people will come. Yeah. So this cause a timeless advice because it's applicable even to the short stay rental business. And of course, that is we overlook a critical piece of Airbnb puzzle management. But when you set everything up in your place and it's ready for the most picky and uptight guests imaginable, you need to make sure it stays that way as always. Yeah, so don't be skip off down the line, okay? Your space must be absolutely immaculate each time and every time a set of new guests check in. Because if you want those details in place for each visitor, you need to take the time to set up a well management machine at the beginning. And it is your responsibility to stay on top of your reservation. So do monitor your listing by the mobile app. If a potential guest email you, then it's on you to respond in a timely fashion. And your listing ranking is actually affected by your prominence as well. So you need to keep a vigilant eyes on your inbox. I recommend setting up a spam filter on your email so that you can respond as quick as possible to any inquiry. For the responsiveness, in my opinion, is a key component of stellar customer service. So do your best, of course. But in my advice, is to strike a super level of communication smoothly from beginning to the end. Now, if you are a traveler or spend most of your time on the road and keep on top of your booking, can be a bit more challenge, right? But Airbnb has created an amazing way to monitor your listing on the go, and we've been talking about that for the last 15 minutes. So do use mobile app, okay? It doesn't matter if you're an Apple or Google loyalist or on Android, okay, the app come in both flavor. If it anything wrong or doesn't update your app, it's just because sometimes Airbnb still update the service at the moment. So just reset it or reinstall the app and download it again. This will work properly. Okay. Right. So after all the communication and get the guests in, what how you can increase the likelihood of a positive review. We already talked about some of the most important factor when creating a successful Airbnb listings, right? So you need a top-notch photo and a killer description. But even after you have these things in place, how do you properly execute to be sure your guest has a wonderful time and leave a positive review? Okay, these are the 5 things that I have list out for you so that help you easily to manage and increase the chance to have positive review. Okay, first create a checklist. When you're getting ready for an Airbnb guest to arrive, you probably have a million things running through your head. Yeah. So now is the time to create a checklist in order to stay organized. Do you have extra toilet paper? Have you vacuum underneath the couch? Perhaps these things will be taken care of by a service management service online. But if you not, but if you do it yourself, then you better be on top of it. Because make a list of all the positive things, possible things that your guests could be concerned about, and then check them off one by one. So this may take some initial work upfront, but when you have the comprehensive list, future guests will be a beast. Okay, and be super friendly. We discussed about how important it is to be timely with your response, but you also want to be extremely polite and courteous. This may seem obvious, but sometimes we get in the habit of shock, response, especially if we're using mobile device, right? Okay, can't imagine how many abbreviation word that people use nowadays, especially the young people. And remember, when you communicate with your guests, you can't really using it. Those were like you at you, any abbreviation word that you just use with your family, your friend. Okay, you got to write it in a proper manner because you get guests from different level of society, different place, different mentalities. So it's best to be clear and proper communicating. Okay. Yes, we appreciate the complete sentence as well. Okay. So you don't need to sound like cloyingly sweet or artificial or flaky. Not mean flaky, sorry, like fake. But you should act as if this person is a customer that you are going out of your way to impress, right? And the informal nature of Airbnb is one of the things that make it is so great. But remember that you are offering a service and you should keep things professional and polite as all the time. And remember to leave a little something extra Because everyone loves surprise and presents, so your Airbnb guest is no different. Okay, they have seen the picture of your place and they know what to expect to a certain degree. An unexpected gift could make all the difference when growing them on upon the entry, yeah. And a simpler bottle of wine or six-pack of beer in the fridge is a nice touch. Maybe a nice gift basket with fruit and cereals for the morning. Or if your guest is a coffee fan, you could set up the finest crowd for them to use when they arrive. And doesn't have to be much, but anything that goes above and beyond that they were expecting will have you get a positive review, remember? Okay. Check-ins is an always important to strike a balance between being available for your guests and respecting their privacy. Yeah. So depending on the layout of the listing, you may or may not be there in person to help, and depending on your circumstances as well. So why not send a friendly message to check in with them during their stays and ask if their travel went smoothly. If you know the weather is warm, why not send them a quick text recommending your favorite ice cream shop? Okay. No need to bother them or ask too many questions. And if they have issues, they will likely contact you first. Yeah. So, but there is something to be said about a host who wants to make sure a guest trip is going as planned and wouldn't be concerned if you stay at a hotel and no one asks you how your stay was going. Okay. But this little hospitality trick will come in very handy for a host. And personalized notes. One of the big reasons why people choose to stay in an Airbnb unit as opposed to a hotel is the personalized feeling and experience that they get from the local host. Yeah, so you can do some easy thing to take this experience even further. So do some search on your guests before they arrive. Um, and no stalking. Okay. Um, all of the information you search by you get is just the information that will make their stays more personalized. But they might mention that they are coming to town to run a marathon or attending a conference. Any insight into why they're traveling or what kind of person they are can help you make their stay more unique. And handwritten note left around the house can make them feel more at home and communicate that you invested in making their stay memorable. So I personally use an ideal hand whiteboard word to leave personalized messages from guests upon their arrival. And on top of that, you can also use space like this for guests to leave their opinion and message for you to see when you return. Okay. A snapping photo of this positive feedback can go a long way to gain the future guests. And that you can upload it on your listing photo later on. Okay. Mm. Right. And a winning host is the person know how to systemize their cleaning. And I will show you how to do that. And managing your routine as well. Okay. So I have already created cheat sheet for you to manage your routine from daily, weekly, and monthly. What you got to do every day, what you got to do every week, the end of the week, next month, in order to boost your listing up and prepare for the guests upon their travel or upon their request. Okay. So systemized cleanings. For this, I also help you further by create a checklist for you. Yeah, you're welcome. um, the Airbnb promotional email state that the service is affordable, easy to schedule, and can be tailored to the include amenities such as line service and gift baskets, right? So the cleaning service will target the section of apartment that are most crucial to a happy stay, and those area need to cover, even though I have already provided you the checklist. We'll go through that, and then you can use my checklist to apply it on yours, or you can change the checklist according to your place to be more suitable. But we will just go through it so you have an idea of what needs to be involved, what is important, and what not. Okay, there's three main area that you have to take care of. The first one is bedrooms and common areas. So when you give the checklist to your cleaner or you check it yourself, um, a cleaner will dust all the reachable areas and wide open surface and countertop. Yeah, they can wash the mirrors and glass pictures or the vacuum mop and all the floor. Take out trash and recycling. Remember how is cleaning the hotel. Your place had to be like that. Um, Around the tap and the mirror and the glass mirror in the bathroom, they have to look like it look like it's transparent, no fingerprint, no mark, no residues on them. Yeah. The next one is the bathroom. Your cleaner will have to wash and wipe down toilet and basins, wash and sanitize shower and sinks, wash mirror and glass fixtures, vacuum and mop all the floor, and take out trash and recycling for you. Also, in the kitchen, the cleaner will have to wash the kitchen sink and dirty dishes left behind by the previous guest and then wipe out the inside and outside the microwave every time, mop the floor, wipe out the stove, and take out the trash and recycling. So you can use a checklist for your cleaner or use it by yourself, but do adjust it accordingly. Okay. If you are deciding that you want to do it by yourself, um, there will be pros and cons. And also in the kitchen, the cleaner will have to wash the kitchen sink and dirty dishes left behind by the previous guest and then wipe out the inside and outside the microwave every time, mop the floor, wipe out the stove, and take out the trash and recycling. So you can use a checklist for your cleaner or use it by yourself, but do adjust it accordingly. Okay. If you are deciding that you want to do it by yourself, there will be pros and cons. And if you outsource your check-in and cleaning, there's also pros and cons about that as well. So if you do it by yourself, ideally you should handle all the check-in. Yeah. And that is the plus point because you're already living there. But although if you're on the road to the majority of the year, please make sure to personally attend to your guests when you're in town. And the extra care is appreciated, and it will give you an added opportunity to learn about your guests and to optimize their experience. And if you are available during the check-in, you can show your guests around the apartment and offer tips for place to visit. It is a great way to personalize the experience and ensure a solid review. And even though this may go without saying, always show up on time. If you had told your guests that they can check in at noon, aim to arrive at your place no later than 11:45. Okay, we don't use plastic timing here. Okay, once your guests have had a chance to settle down, and it will be a plus point if you can treat them for coffee at a nearby cafe or spend half hour or so getting to know them, answering their question and asking about their plant. Don't just do this for a good review. Okay, be genuinely interested in your guests. If you are a people person like me, then I recommend adding this extra touch. It's really fun and will make your guests feeling at home as well. You just need a few guests that when you check them in and do this to them, you get much better review than anything. Remember, your behavior should mirror the wants and needs of each particular set of guests. Because if the guest is the type of person prefer privacy and don't talk much, then do not be so excessive. Okay. If you notice that your guests are tired or perhaps a bit shy, it might be better to simply check them in and leave them be. Okay. If you decide to outsource and unable to check the gas in yourself, you will need to find a highly responsible and personable individual to do this for you. And this is an important role, so choose your employees wisely, carefully. Okay. A good candidate should be like social, socially persons, always on standby in case of problem, smiling all the time, happy all the time, responsible, reliable, and punctual, and in close approximately to your place. Under half hour is best, 15-20 minutes even better. Or next door is superb, and the obvious choice of retiring neighbor, a nearby family member, a close friend, um, paid or you pay other Airbnb guests to do it for you, who's also in your area. Okay, and while you may have friend or family member that offer to check on this role for free, I advise against it totally. As the age of all people used to say, you get what you pay for. If you want someone who is reliable, friendly, and above all else, extremely professional, you should negotiate a reasonable payment with them. Yeah, using bad employees or friends can cost you substantially down the line. Let's say that your check-in manager forget to show up at the apartment and it isn't reachable by phone. Oh my God, what gonna be disaster it is? Within an hour or two, your guests will inevitably check into our competing hotels. And when that happens, you will definitely, always, certainly lose the total rental amount. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, okay? Your guests will leave a scathing review for everyone to see. And one bad review like this could sink your listing significantly. So, especially if you are just starting out, please give very much close attention to this. The bottom line is that your check-in manager must be at the apartment on time, every time. A no-show is simply unacceptable, even it just is at the first time. Okay, you can use your cat cleaner to manage your check-in. I had touched on this earlier. But if you're lucky enough to locate a personalized and friendly cleaner that doesn't mind handling the check-in process, then take the advantage of this place. That's why I also recommend you to pay them higher than they would expect. Okay. So, for example, I have such an agreement with I have this agreement with my cleaning people, and these are awesome people. They're Swiss and extremely knowledgeable about the area, and it is an ideal setup as my cleaner always arrange the cleaning so that my guests can completely so that my the cleaning I can complete dry before my guests check in time. Yeah, and on top of it, I can always count on them in case my guests encounter a problem. Because of my cleaner important role and excellent service, I pay her quite well. Um, okay. She earns significantly more with me than she would at a normal cleaning job. And why do I do this? You can ask. And it's so, as I said before, you get what you pay for. And sure, she deserves the money. The logic behind the additional cost is so that she knows her work is appreciated and moreover they incentivize her to deliver awesome service time after time and then staying to work with me in the long run. Okay. I won't go into how much I pay her because it will depend on your area, your local or the people you can find. Um, you can offer them the different amount, but if if you can find a person like that, please offer them 10% more than the price you normally pay for other people or the normal cleaner. Yeah. So this fee just cover cleaning and a friendly face is ensured absolutely reliable in case of any mishaps. Yeah. Um, and if you lost a key, no worries. Call your cleaner and they will be there for you. Yeah. And yes, if guests can't find a cool cafe or discourse, right? They can give a cleaner a buzz and they will be in the right they will point them to the right directions. Okay? So pay the more will ensure the top notch service with a smile. Not bad, hey? So in addition to managing problem or answer guest questions, your cleaner also can help you to restock supplies such as toilet paper, cleaning supplies, and maintenance the appliance and electronics. And if you are constantly on the go, this is an essential arrangement. Okay, it has worked out extremely well for me, so I highly recommend it to you. Okay, upon guest check out, there's a three option. You either can do it yourself, or or let's or guests can do it themselves, or the cleaner can do it for you. With my guests, checking out is easy for them. I don't require meetup. Instead, I simply tell them to either lock the place and leave the key in the mailbox or put it on the table, close the door behind them, and my cleaner will come afterward and grab the keys and then start her cleaning. And it's simple, fast, and easy. Although this way work reasonably well for me, I recommend you to perform the checkout if possible. Okay, foregoing a final meetup has several disadvantages of it. Because first of all, your guest might forget to return the key. Oh dear, I had that happen. That was nice. This okay. In case the guest had to return the key by mail, um, why I was able to get the key eventually, it took several days before the key arrived, and I had to cut another one in the meantime. This meant that I had to entertain the new guests with fewer set of key as well. The second disadvantage is that you are unable to locate the damage before you get to leave, and this can make it more difficult to open a report and ask reimbursement in the event of a mishap. Yeah. So finally, you miss the opportunity to personally interact with your guests one final time. Chatting with them at their lives is a terrific time to get honest feedback. Moreover, if there's any problem, you can tell them face to face how sorry you are that you will immediately rectify the issues and simply um, communicate that you are concerned and eager to fix the problem. You can bump up a rating and review from your guests. Also, you got to let the guests know the check-in and check-out time in advance. I recommend following the industry standard. Check in at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and check out by lunchtime, 12 p.m. It's straightforward and predictable, right? It is in line with standard expectation. And in addition, the 3-hour buffer provides you more than enough time to get your place clean, nice, and tidy. And in my experience, the majority of guests will ask for the early check-in and late check-out. I might be bold, but my general philosophy is to accommodate my guests. So as long as my schedule is not adversely affected. For example, if I have a new guest check in the same day and a current guest want to late check out, I usually cannot apply the gas. This is because my cleaning lady needs a solid 2 hours to prepare the place. So I cannot risk having the place look bad when my new guests arrive. And when I'm unable to provide late checkout, I refer my guests to a nearby location where they can hang out and use free Wi-Fi. And I also allow a driving guest to drop off their luggage at my place by noon, even if the space is still need to be clean. So I give them an extra front door key and then they can return it later. Okay. Next, I'm going to show you what to do when you meet your first guest. First, you got to know when they're showing up. And this is the most important thing. And do communicate with your guests. Keep on top of the time that they arrive. Okay. So either you can be there, your cleaner be there, your manager be there. If your space isn't ready, ask if they want to just drop their bags off. And usually they do. Okay. So that is also the drop off / check-in time as well. Okay. And the most important thing is your first guest. Do take your first guest in and give them the super high quality service. Okay. You can show them the entire place and talking to your guests and show them how to use the bathroom, the kitchen, all the equipment, and tell them they are your first guests, so they can give you the benefit of the doubt, and they will be more likely to forgive any neglect that upon your communication or your check-in, because you can say to them, "You're actually my first guest, so if anything that I forgot to tell you, please just remind me, and I will do my best to make your stay as comfortable as possible." Okay. You can also go an extra mile or give them your cell phone number and check in with them the next day. Make sure that you enjoy the interaction, of course. Don't make it feel like the guest is a burden for you and you actually have to check time off of what important you were doing for them. That's not nice at all. Okay. I have a video to walk you through your first guest. But most importantly, don't worry about it. It's much more natural than you think, okay? Because if your space isn't ready, ask if they want to just drop the bag, and usually they do, as I said. And so look into that so you can see how do I check my guests in, and you can either copy it or make up something that much better for yourself, okay? And I'll see you in the next session. All right, thank you and bye bye.